Good afternoon, potato chips. How you doing? Wee Paddy from across the shuck. And I've another wee video. You've seen the title. This is making up my EDC, making up an EDC pairing is what this one's going to be. And how I tend to choose my EDC when I'm taking, especially when I'm carrying two big knives, which is usually one larger and one smaller. But unlike the last video when I was doing my green knives, I had a more of an even split. This one I've only got 3 blue locking knives, so I'm going to just change it up as is my will. It's my channel and I can do it. So I'm going to do this just a wee bit different. But first of all, I'd like to say a huge thank you to a fella who I've only just met this morning, literally about 2 hours ago. He called at my caravan, knocked the door, and I'm going, who the heck is that? I've never seen him before. Thinking it's probably just one of the new neighbours. You know, people move in and out of the caravans. And I went to the door, but this fella's called Norman, and he's been a follower of my channel. And he knocked the door, he says, would you be Paddy? I said, I would. And we got talking. Now, he's from a place called Dungannon, which is, I don't know, maybe 60 miles away from here, something like that. He's been following the channel, and I'm sure if he's commented, I must have answered him at some stage, but he's been following quite a while. And would you believe this man was in Newtownards, which is a town, say, 20 to 25 miles away from here. And it's near my hometown, and he'd been visiting friends, as far as I know. I think it was friends he was visiting. And he thought, you know, I'm going to go down to the caravan and see if Paddy's there, see if I can find him. And him and his wife drove all the way down to Clocky, which is going the opposite way from where he needs to go. Drove down to Clocky, tried the first caravan park, drove round, because he had noticed, I'd done videos of the caravan, he'd noticed my car and whatever. So he drove round the first caravan park down here, couldn't find me, and then drove right round the bay to Silver Bay, where I am. And drove around our caravan park until he spotted the car and what looked like the right caravan and come up and knocked the door. How flipping amazing is that? To have a subscriber. Look, I've always said I've got the best subscribers in the world, and this is just beyond words that this man would drive all the way on the hope to just get to have a wee chat with Paddy. I am humbled beyond belief. I'm just tickled pink. Just like we don't have big knife shows over here where you can go and meet up like you do in the States and other countries. And I'm just beginning to get a little following of subscribers that are living in my own country. And I just love that. And I've managed to meet up with a couple, and there's another one now. And hopefully we'll get to meet up again. Just amazing. So Norman, thank you so much for calling. He came into my wee studio here, and he wanted to see a few of the knives, so I opened my knives up and had a look, and then he was rushing on. But I just thought, what a beautiful gesture. And I was in my dressing gown. Sally was in her dressing gown. And but his wife came out to the front caravan, the deck, and I said hello. I believe she's Avril. If I've got that wrong, I'm terribly sorry. But you know what my head's like if you know Paddy. So I was just, Norman, it was so lovely to meet you, and I really do want to meet you again. Next time you're down, or just give me a little ring. I'll make sure you get my telephone number, and you can pop down at any time. So that was a wee bit of excitement. Do you know, honestly, it just makes, I don't know, it gave me a huge lift just for somebody that would go out of their way just to come and say hello. Can't tell you how much that really meant to me. So, there we go. Right, wee Paddy's going to go away. So, what I've only got 3 locking knives. So, what I thought was, and this, again, what I tend to do is I throw the knives on the table and then think of a storyline to go with them. So, what I'm going to say is, this is picking at EDC where I'm going to go out for the day, and I know that I'm going to be using a knife. So, I want to have a good, honest work knife, and then I want to have a good honest pen knife, if that makes any sense, or 2 good pen knives. That could happen. So I thought I would just do that, pick 2 or pick 3 sets of knives that I would consider a good pairing to go out in the day where you're going to do work, and you know you're going to do work. So you want to take enough ammunition that you've got to shoot enough bullets out of. So I'm going to go with the obvious one, which is my Hindra XM18 Slippy, it is just one of my favourite knives, one of my best knives as far as use, ergonomics, everything about this. This is a slip joint that I could stab with and have no worries whatsoever. You know, not that I'd want to, but I could if needed be. I could stab and puncture anything. But it's a great work knife. Just a super ergonomic knife. Hinder has spent so much time, even when I'm holding down here and I close the blade, it can't get me. It just can't cut me. His, absolutely fantastic. The work that he put into getting this knife to be an ultra useful slip joint is amazing. And I've done reviews on that. But if there's any of these that you would like to see reviews more of, a new review of, please ask me and I'll do that again. But that's the Hinderer Slippy. And that's going to be the first one I'm going to choose because it's in 20 CV. It's just the most ergonomic, beautiful knife I can use in either hand. Love it. Absolutely love it. So I'm going to do that. But what I need is to get a partner. This one has 20 CV. So when I usually take a knife out that's got a higher steel, especially a steel that you probably, if you blunt it, you're probably going to need diamonds, especially if you really blunt it or let it go blunt. That's the point here. So I'm going to pick this and I need one to go with it. And to be honest with you, I'm going to make this my ultimate EDC carry because I'm going to pair it with this. Probably that's not a surprise. I'll go through and let people know what these are and what blade steels. This is the Spyderco Para 3. That is in M390, that one, which is a fantastic steel, very equivalent to 20 CV. This one's a QB, I think it's a 322 or something. They don't put it on the blade even, but it's in D2, a really good work knife. It's got the blade shape of the Arius, or the Arius, whatever way it's called. Beautiful big working blade. Absolutely stunning. Action is to die for. Budget knife. The other locking knife is the Ganzo, and this is the F759M, one of my favourite little lockbacks. A super highly recommended £10 knife. This is the newest, and this is in blue carbon fibre or dark matter carbon fibre. This is in M390, again, super steel on a really good, secure, this is just a slip joint. Beautiful pattern from Jack Wolf Knives. This is the Sharpshooter, which is in the gunstock pattern. Beautiful knife. Over here we have a little case. I'll just put this. This is a little case, medium trapper with the muskrat clip and the spay blade. Had this for ages. This was a gift from one of my stubs. Beautiful little knife. Fit and finish on this is second to none. Gorgeous knife. Really useful, handy little two-bladed knife. I think it's the only. No, I've got another two-bladed one here. This is my. Is it Martin du Plessis? I think it's Martin du Plessis. He's a South African maker, and this is a beautiful snub nose, just a most gorgeous clip point. But I'll be honest with you, this is more a take me out, stroke me and look at me. Oh, sorry, I'm knocking this again. Oh, Stephen, stop. This is a take me out, look at me, a beautiful knife. My Carta and G10 bolster. This, as you know, is my Ashley Harrison custom. No, it's not. It's not. I just picked it up and I saw it's blue. This is my Rough Rider Reserve one-hand opener. Beautiful in D2. Beautiful knife. Sorry, that's an N690. This is my Ashley Harrison. And this is the Sheep's Foot. This is an 01 tool steel, which is just a fantastic, tough, hard-working steel, but one that's easy to repair. And then we have another custom. This is just one of the, a local in England, I should say, but an English knife maker called Ian Underwood. Now, he works for Eberson's, which is an old family firm, and they own quite a few named brands from the past, and they still make knives under their name. But he made me this one. This is a little custom, about £60. Fantastic little custom. Not up to the standard of Ashley, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, but it's a lovely little custom knife. Like using it, really nice Ricasso. You can get up there, and a lovely little clip point blade. Love it. No half stop on that one. And then I've got a little case Peanut. And it's a blue knife, so it has to come out. And I'll have to say, I always thought these peanuts were, I don't know, like a gimmick, but they're not. They're not a gimmick. Williams Knife Life has a stack of them, and they're great for hoking and poking in the tiny little places. And when I watched him, he changed my opinion. But I'll have to say that the single-bladed ones, I find are a bit weak in the detent here. They tend to wobble a wee bit. But you see with the secondary, this one has a little pen blade. And whatever it is about the two-bladed one, now I haven't had a whole lot to make this a jet, but this seems to stiffen everything up. These two blades are rock solid. Absolutely rock solid. Fit and finish, immaculate. Really lovely blue bone, the worn blue bone. Love that little knife, little fifth pocket, or just a little display piece. It's lovely. And then last but not least, this is the GEC number 94. This is just a newish acquisition. Beautiful little, it's nearly a Barlow, but it's not. But it's one of the Northfield unexcelled version of GEC knives. So you get all the bells and whistles, a lovely long pull, a three ring bolster at the top, and a lovely end cap. Just a beautiful knife, fit and finish, outstanding. And this is in 1095. So I've got quite a few steels that will mix and match well. So with this, I'm going to match it with my Ashley Harrison. And the reason again, M390 Super. Don't let it go blunt before you touch it up. That would be my... Once you let something like a powdered steel go blunt, you need diamond stones to get a really good edge back on it again. It's simple as that. Because they're such a tough steel to sharpen if you've only got like a rock or whatever. Not that you're going to go for a rock, but you know what I mean. You need to have diamond stones to get that real good edge back. So don't let it go blunt. And this is an 01 tool steel, which is a tough, beat me to death steel. Work away, keep me sharp, and don't let it go. Don't let any steel go blunt. And the way to do that, if I'm going out for a day where I'm going to set them there, that's the first two pairings. That thing, that not letting a knife go blunt is so important. And I'll come back to that before we finish, because it really is. The next locking knife I have, these are two slip joints, but I had no choice, didn't have enough knives. And I'm only going to pick 3 pairs, and then we'll discuss them. This, again, a super knife. M390, Para 3, compression lock, fidget factor, brilliant. Is it a good knife? Yes. It is right up there with one of my favourite knives. Again, the forward choil, which just makes knives so ergonomically comfortable and easy to use over long periods of time. So that would be my second one. And pairing it now, there's a thing. What will I pair it with? I mean, that's my do-all and everything. Some of these, this is more of a show knife. That's not one that I'd want to do a whole lot of work with. It's just pretty. But it's not got a point, which really sort of rules it out for having it for anything you're going to do. This is more a little show knife, a little fifth pocket knife. It's a do anything small knife, but not what I'd want in an EDC where I know I'm going to do work for that day. I will probably pair this and this up. M390, quite hard to sharpen if you let it go blunt. 1095, absolutely super. Will work a reasonable amount of time, but easy to strop back. You don't even have to really get a stone out. This will strop back really quickly. But M390 strops back. Don't forget the power of the strop. And if you've got a leather belt on, you've got a strop. So there's another one. That's the second one. Sorry, I am terrible for passing that. So what am I going to pick next? Well, here you are now. Here's something that's going to throw a lot of you off. I'm going to go to this. Now, this is M390. This is the Jack Wolf knives. And I'm going to pick this because it's M390, but also because it's an absolutely super knife. And this is going to be a main carry rather than the secondary, which the other slip joints are. And I'm not going to choose either one of those two. as a main carry. This is D2 and it's a fine knife, absolutely super. But sometimes D2 can be a bit funny to sharpen, and I haven't used that enough to find that out. But this is going to be my third choice because it's M390, so I know I'm going to get a lot of time, and the cutting part of that is amazing. But what am I going to put with it? Now, I could go D2, but again, probably for the same reason as this. You know, I've used these and cut with them and resharpened them and they're fine, but I know a lot of people find D2 hard to get back. I don't, I have to say it doesn't cause me a problem. This is a C70 or something. I think it's just a real lightweight steel, if you want, as in cutting performance. So do you know what? I'm going to do that and that. Now, there you go. These are all good knives. They wouldn't be in my collection if I didn't think they were good. But they're not what I'm going to choose for today. In another episode, they might just do that. But I'm going to move them out of the way. And this would be my choice for EDC pairings with a locking or a slip joint main blade. And strangely enough there's two slip joints that are going to be my main blades, which is this two and this two. So why have I picked them? Well, I've sort of explained that as I'm going along. I picked these because, one, the main blade has got a really good, reliable, long-lasting cutting edge. 20CV, M390, M390, fantastic steels. Will last a really long time as far as cutting goes. The three pairings with them, this is an 01 tool steel, which is a great hard working steel. You know, you can beat it with a mallet. It's a real tough steel. I love 01 tool steel. This is in 1095, a great working steel that's easily sharpened. These are carbon steels. This is M390, which again, much like these, is a great steel. And it's big enough to do any jobs that I'm going to ever want to do. And I put it with this, the Ganzo F759M. This was the first knife, one of the first knives on my channel. I still stand by it to this day. It's in 440C. It is a stunning grip. It's a Delica with a forward choil. It's just beautiful. And 440C, super steel, really easy. Super steel, not a super steel, but it's an easy steel to repair and keep going with a strop. Super. So that's my three choices. I don't know whether you would have picked them yourselves at the beginning or is any surprise, but here's the other thing. If I'm going out to do a day where I know, which the whole point of this was a day where I knew I was going to do some work and I wanted to take two options. Keeping them blades sharp throughout your working day is more important than anything else. Sticking something like this little 10-pound sharpener, this is a Victorinox, this is not going to bring back M390 to a hair-splitting edge. It's not. But if you just, if you're using it a lot, just give it a wee tiny touch on this every now and then and keep the edge on it. The same with these. This will bring these three back to full sharpness, so you're never going to be stuck. But keep these topped up, the M390 20CV, couple of little swipes on this, it will keep them sharp and keep an edge that's a working edge. And there's a difference by a show edge, which is all shiny and bright and glinting in your eye. But that's, the edge on that will go fairly quickly. Like any knife, when you sharpen it to that extreme sharpness, that edge, unless the geometry, which I'll have to say, the geometry on slip joints is much better for keeping cutting when the knife is getting duller. This is just amazing and will keep cutting even when blunt. If you're on cardboard or even light wood, it really would. It's just so well hollow ground. But even 1095, 01 tool steel will keep cutting. But the thin geometry on these two especially, and this is just tough. This is just tough. So I would highly recommend getting one of these and starting to use them. Practice on your 440Cs. Light touches just up and down and keep your knife sharp before it goes blunt. For those of you just around, I can't emphasize how much that is important to keeping a knife going, to keeping your equipment up to date. There you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Norman, I'm naming this one for you. Thank you so much. And please, please come back again and visit when I'm not half naked on the steps of my caravan. I would love to see you. You seem like a lovely man. And I would love to see you again. And Avril will come up and Sally will have a cup of tea with her because Sally does not do knives either. So you're more than welcome. Now, and anybody else is in Northern Ireland and you want to pop down for a wee cup of tea to Clockie, give me a ring. Text me. Do something first. I'll give you the address. You're more than welcome. Bring a couple of knives down. Let me see what you've got. So, Paddy's away now. Thank you so much indeed. I'm having a great day. Take care, everybody. All the best, Paddy. Bye-bye now.